Hello and welcome everyone to another video. Today we have standard IZZET Dragons. This is the list from Hue Jensen. I think it's a really cool deck, also many new cards from the new set, so it's definitely something you don't see too much. The list is around for a while and there are multiple configuration. We decided to go with the original to get the feeling of it, and hope you like the video. And yeah, with no further ado, I think we just jump into it. Okay, so this is the deck. IZZET Dragons, right? Who doesn't love dragons? And it's like an IZZET tempo. It's really close to the deck you remember that happened in Kaltam with the Goldspan Dragon attack counter. It is close to that. We got new cards from the new set, and I think this is definitely something we have to go over first. We played a Snowland package, so we have some snow cards. And yeah, let's have a look at the new cards. And I think the card that we have to mention first is Galazeth Prismari, 4 mana, 3/4, legendary creature, Elder Dragon. This is the Prismari slash IZZET Dragon legendary in the set, and it has flying. And when Galazeth Prismari enters the battlefield, we create a treasure token, and artifacts we control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. This is important. Don't forget you cannot pay creature mana with the treasures. With the ability from this dragon. So really cool new card. Artwork is amazing, I would say. Huge fan of the card. And yeah, this is basically the most new addition, but we also have more new cards, and we have here Expressive Iteration, a 2 mana spell, sorcery. We can look at the top 3 cards of our library. We put 1 in our hand, 1 back in our library, and 1 in the exile, and we can play the card in the exile until end of turn. Usually try to do this not on turn 2, because you can get a land in the exile, play the land, and get the other card on your hand. It's important to note that the order in Arena is hand, library, and exile. This is something that definitely you can miss, and that's just a tip. Really cool cards, good advantage also in the late game. Basically two draws for 2 mana seems good to me. And then we have another mythic rare here. We're in Magma Opus, 8 mana instant speed mythic. Magma Opus deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Tap 2 target permanents and create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Draw 2 cards. That's a lot. That's a lot. It costs 8 mana though. On the other hand, we can also pay 2 and discard Magma Opus and create a treasure token. As we know, we can use the treasure token later on with this really well. And we also play the classic Goldspan Dragon, which is a 5 mana 4/4 flying haste dragon. When Goldspan Dragon attack or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token, and treasure tokens you control have tap, sacrifice your artifact, add 2 mana of any color. Amazing card, especially if you have a counter interaction post the attack. This is what this dragon makes. This is just, it feels like Reclamation back in the days where you had to play Reclamation, you have a counter backup. We do not have too many counters to main here. We're still more of a tempo deck. We try to hit. So it's a bit of a calculation going on here, but this is a really strong card. And the interaction between those 2 dragons is also interesting because you get a treasure token here, so we have already 2 up. You always have to choose which ability you want to use. You want to use the Prismari, the Galazeth Prismari ability, where you tap it and add the mana, or you want to use the Goldspan Dragon and sacrifice it for 2 mana. This is something you have to keep in mind if you play both dragons. The rest is no new cards, but there's a lot, right? We play 11 new cards. Let's have a look at the first card here, Frostbite, 1 red. Snow instant. Frostbite deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. Then we have here Fire Prophecy as a 1/off, 2 mana, instant. Fire Prophecy deals 3 damage to target creature. You may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. If you do, draw a card. Nice to find some cards. As we see, we have here already 5 removal spells because there's a lot of aggressive cards decks around in Standard, but then there's also the big cards around in Ultimatum and so on. Then we have 2 Mystical Disputes main. You need some counters in main. I don't know how to deal with the Ultimatum deck if you don't have counter game 1. It can be really painful because they have basically everything. So Mystical Dispute, 3 mana, instant. The spell costs 2 less to cast if it hits target blue spell, and counter target spell unless it controller pays 3. So having the Mystical Dispute counter here is really nice. And then we have Saw It Coming here, 3 mana, instant, counter target spell. We can foretell it, and after that it costs 2. And this is really, really good. Obviously with the Goldspan Dragon, because we have the counter up, so this is really nice. We also have 7 adventure creature here in the deck. We have 3 Brazen Borrower, just as stable as well, same as Bonecrusher Giant. 3 mana, 3/1 flash flying, can only block flying creatures, and for 2 mana we can play Petty Theft, which is an instant. Return target non-land permanent opponent controls to its owner's hand. Good tempo card, also playable out of the dragon here. And then Bonecrusher Giant, I mean, I think every second deck plays this card. So Bonecrusher Giant, 3 mana for 3, Stomp for 2. Whenever Bonecrusher Giant becomes the target of a spell, that owner will take 2 damage, and for 2 mana Stomp we can do 2 damage, and damage cannot be prevented. And to round the deck up, we have Alrund's Epiphany, 7 mana, create 2 1/1 blue creature tokens with flying, and then you take an extra turn. You can foretell it for 2, and later it costs 6 mana. So this card, as you see, you can win off Epiphany. You try to attack, Epiphany, win. It's a really cool deck with many new cards. We run the snow package here, so we also play for Faceless Haven here. Snowland at 1, 3 snow, Faceless Haven becomes a 4/3 creature with vigilance and all creature types until the end of turn. It's still a land. Faceless Haven is such a strong card. This is really important against ultimatum decks as well, once they sweep the board and we just chip in for the last damage. But yeah, this is the main deck. There are multiple iterations of it. As I said, we decided for this one. I do like it. I played 3 games now and I won 3, so that definitely looks good. Sideboard wise, I was unsure, but down below you have Bob. He's definitely the one who knows how to do the sideboard guide, and there will be the sideboard guide in the description below on YouTube as well. And yeah, let's have a look at the sideboard. We play a 1 of Annul, 1 blue, counter target artifact enchantment spell. Seems decent against many. You even can play this against red, against Embercleave, against Annex, and their cards you can play it. Also really nice against the ultimatum deck. They play the bindings, they play multiple enchantments. So for 1, it's never a dead card here. We play 3 more Fire Prophecy here. Again, another removal spell if we need the removal spell against the aggressive decks. And 2 this Mystical Dispute, 3 mana. Again, the same here for more counters. 1 Ashiok Erasure, which is a really interesting one, for mana, enchantment, flash. When Ashiok Erasure enters the battlefield, exile target spell. Your opponent can't cast a spell of the same name as the exiled card. When Ashiok's Erasure leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. This card is super important against Coma. Coma is a bit of a tricky card, so you definitely want to have this one in. Clearly it can die to some bindings in that matchup, but I think it's still important. Then we play 3 red cap melees, 1 red. Red cap melee deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, you sacrifice a land. Important against the mono-red matchups, because I tell you, you face this a lot. And as well, really good against Winota. Then 2 Akron War, super flexible card, 4 mana. The Akron War is a saga. We gain control on a creature as long as this card remains on the battlefield. On the second step, until your next turn, creature your opponent controls attack each combat if able. So it's a pseudo board wipe. And on the third step, each tapped creature deals damage to itself, as said. Pseudo board wipe. But yeah, it's a really decent card. It's also good against ultimatum. It really depends on the lists. If it's open deck list and you see the play Gargaroths, you definitely want that card. You definitely want to have that card. It's a really cool card, and against creature decks, obviously really strong. And then we play 3 Ox. Yeah, Rogues is still around. 5 mana for 2 creature Ox. When Ox of Agonas enters the battlefield, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. And we have Escape here for 2. We exile 8 cards, and it enters with a +1/+1 counter. So this is the main deck, and this is the sideboard here. I hope you're gonna like it. If you like this deck, if you like what I do here, if you want to support me, feel free to leave a like, a comment, or just subscribe to the channel. I also stream on DanyTLaw on twitch.tv. And yeah, this is it. Hopefully you like the games, and wish you all fun watching it. See you next time. I had really bad streams the last 2 days, so sorry for that. It's a playable hand. If they are aggro, this is decent. I mean, obviously Elden Travel is still very strong, so we have to be careful about that. Okay, could be Elden Travel again. We have to get the blue out here. have to get the blue out. Now that we show passage, they know we probably not mono red. But I need this up. I wish I can use this really soon to get to the lands, right? It's also really important that we find the lands here. They have nothing. Okay. I want to land here into your hand. Should have maybe went for the mountain here. I actually wanted to go for the mountain, but I clicked the wrong order. Sometimes it's tricky to do this at 2 AM. But yeah, definitely should have went for the mountain there. This is on me. Yep, could have killed this one. Now I have to kill it in my turn. Which is not that cool. But again, I can still do it. This is where we could have used this saw it coming. But we can still use it here, right? It's just as a spell. I mean, double dispute against Gruul is usually not that good, but this is the scenario where we have to use them, so it's probably even better than foretelling this. So definitely looking forward to dispute whatever comes in. That's something we dispute. Okay, I didn't like that. I don't know what they play, to be honest. I don't know what they play. Seems control-y. Seems kind of control-y, but it's really hard to say. You're gonna keep the removals in for sure. I'm gonna add some more removals, some Macron Wars. It's hard to say with no more information. So if you're looking for the sideboard guide here, this is really hard because it doesn't look like traditional Gruul. Cloth is main. It's awkward just to see. We can keep this. We have the removals. We can find some lands with the Fire Prophecy. This is an okay hand. On the draw, also 2 lands is fine, and we get access to both mana here, which is also good. So this is a keeper. Yep, clearly a keeper here. But yeah, still, we don't know a lot about the opponent's deck here. That is for sure. That is for sure, guys. Okay. Opponent. Just to make sure that surfing is okay. They must have a hard decision here. I hope they don't rope us here. That is definitely something I hope. Because we need games for content, guys. We need the games for content. We cannot have ropers. No ropers allowed. Looks like a roper, so guys, if you ever play against the skills and he really ropes and they really rope me, you know it now. You are we're gonna definitely add this game to the video just so people know. That is 100% sure. Not really cool. Oh, opponent is here. Nice. Never mind. Can play Magic. That is good. Roberto. A land. They could play Snakeskin Whale, so becoming a bit more popular, so I want to make sure it does. Now, Fire Prophecy still deals with... okay. There's no card except Clovis that we do not want to see. I'm gonna play this safe because we can go Prismari Dragon and have counter up next turn, or just counter the Clovis, which is a harder card to deal with. Okay. Sure. We just need lands, yeah. And library, get this one. Put this one out. Attack. Play the creature. This looks good. So it is actually Gruul. At this point it's probably really hard. If they miss a land here again, then that was kinda non-game here. We already have access to Magma Opus. Okay. Just go for the damage. Then we win next turn. Don't even have to play this. I mean, this is just too late. We could have played this as well, but yeah, at this point, when you're so behind, there's no out. But yeah, this is the first game. Let's go to another one. 1-1 with Pico. We start. We take it. Oh bosh. Trust the cards sometimes. If we find a red, this hand is keepable. Double extra turn is usually okay against Obosh if we find the dragon first. We can definitely get them out really sure, and double attack here can still win the game. If we find that red mana and a dragon or a creature, that's really good. That's where I want to be. Okay, found the dragon. Step 1 completed. Step 1 completed. Still on step 1. I'm pretty sure they have like bone. Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm pretty sure they have a Bonecrusher. Okay. We found this one, which is super important. We take the damage here, there's not much we can do, but this is important. We need to find another red now. Innkeeper. Keeping 2 up, I guess. Oh, that is good for us. Okay. I do like Bonecrusher. If we kill the Bonecrusher, they keep Eddie. So we play land 5, 6, 7. I kinda like it. So now we have two options, right? We can play the Bonecrusher and block. Take another 4 here. So we have next turn with Dragon Attack, right? Which is still really powerful. This is a really hot turn. If they don't play anything, we just play Bonecrusher. So I think this is the main goal here. Okay. Seems like they have a counter. Sure. I think we have to get rid of this one. I mean, this card is insane, but I'd rather make sure that I survive here. So finding a removal is better. We're just gonna slam one Epiphany here to check the situation over there. Okay, they don't have a counter here, which is really important. Can do another Epiphany here. Seems like the best play. That counter is really good. So we can go Dragon Attack now with counter up. In case they have a dragon. And then from there we just win. We found the red lands. It was a risky keep though. So here's the dragon, like we anticipated. Could have won with the lands. But I think it has more style to use this. Sometimes you want to win with a different way. Here we go. Game 1. Okay, so we know what opponent is playing. Dispute in general seems good. A Crone War seems also good. Really expensive spell is less good. How many Fire Prophets do you want? Definitely gonna cut one of those. Brazen Borrower is not good in this matchup. The only thing about Brazen Borrower is you can bounce in a Crone War. That's it. Probably Redcap melee could be fine. It's still not perfect, but it deals with Dragon and Bonecrusher. I think we have enough early removal. We still need to win with the extra turns, right? So that's the goal, getting there. Definitely cut 2 of them. They're still okay for the ramp, and sometimes they can come through. But yeah, this is the way I would do it here. The problem with the red cap melee is against this type of deck, you have 2 hits, right? One hit, one of them can be protected by a sword coming. It cannot be protected on curve by this dispute, but by sword coming. So counter dragon. This is actually a good hand, I think. It is soft to their early game, for sure, but with a Crone War, you can catch up. You definitely can catch up. We have something of a ramp going on here with this. So if we find a land, we have... If we find a land, it's actually decent. And the sword coming here I still think is huge. Especially if we get this early out, we can use it with this one. If this one resolves, obviously, but the Crone War still a really nice card. So if they don't drop early creatures, which they don't have a lot, they have Edward Innkeeper, but this is really risky to drop into this deck. If they do it, they usually have 2. So, wow, impressive. Usually, opponent when you do this, guys, you have a Bonecrusher, right? You know how it is. So usually I should draw a Bonecrusher here. It's the way this game works, right? Nothing. So now the counter obviously is weak against their the Lovestruck Beast here. Oof, that's good. That was good. I mean, okay, good is relative, huh? Okay, we're just gonna counter whatever we see. Painful, really painful. Lots of damage. Lots of damage. But we have to counter every card, but that's a lot of damage. And we cannot really afford to play something here. I mean, at least they tapped out. But it's a lot of damage. We're going 10. If they have another passage, it's gonna be hard. It's a really, really good draw. Like, this is the nut draw right now. This was the best draw ever. Now we just need to find another land, and then we can counter their dragon now, play our dragon, saw it coming up, and then we play the game. It's a bit hard right now, since they have board control. So we still want to find that land. Yeah, sadly we cannot do much. We still have the Faceless Haven here for blocks now. But them having Adult Innkeepers are really powerful here. Obviously now we block, yeah. Didn't find a land either. Well, at least it's kind of a stalemate here. It's a good attack. Because I know we cannot do a lot. Okay, so now we can actually shoot that with Innkeeper. They can play the Obosh, but then they tap out. They can go now. They will tap out. Okay. So we really need to find the red mana now. It's super important. It's kind of sad, but no other option. Hello? Hello? It's on my side, huh? Interesting. Internet is stable, I think. Waiting for server. Okay, well, it seems like I may lost connection here. Okay, I'm back. I have to play it here. Not that I want to, but have to play it. They can just slam in a dragon or extra turning. So this is really bad. We were missing one land to actually profit from them tapping out, so you know how this game works, right? GG. You know how this game works. Recently I've been not that good at drawing. I should practice more drawing. Kind of think we need more fire prophecies. Probably this card is way too weak here. I can keep it as a one-off though. But I need that removal. I need that removal. I have a lot of removal in, but also didn't found that. I found the spells we already had on our hand, like in Prismari Dragon. Which, yeah, we need to find a land there. But Magma Opus in this matchup seems not good. The only way this is good is if you ramp. And it can be a really good top deck, so one-off is fine. Especially if we have ways to filter our hand with the 2-mana spell. So for that reason I think we can keep one in. But I could see that none is probably better. But I just want to showcase the new cards in the new deck. That's definitely also something we want to do here. And yeah, definitely something. Okay, let's go. That's a keep. That is a good keep, I think. Especially with the mana now. Okay, they don't jump in with the Edward Innkeeper this time. Getting Soil coming out early is always really nice as long as we have Goldspan Dragon. This is a really counter-intense game usually, where everyone's just waiting until they can explode. So we need to find a way to have a board that we can do it, but usually their deck is better in that regard, because they can play the cards right. I mean, if they think this long, they could have a dispute on hand. Take the extra turn on our hand. Get a free land here. So we have to play this one next turn. If we find a blue, we're gonna play this. Okay, that's good. So there's no turn free creature. This is really good. If they tap out, we get a Prismari Drake if they do it. So risky on their side. Innkeeper. Their turn 4 is kind of weak. So we opt for this. Okay. Next time we slam a dragon. Depends how they play now. Because it's still risky that if we dragon first and then they dragon us back with a counter backup, that is risky. Especially if we dragon, they dispute, play dragon, and they go in with something else. That's where it gets scary. Okay, that is actually perfect, right? Now we can just slam the dragon, attack, and we save for the rest of the game. This is the thing. If you miss lands in this matchup, and you have the dragon, that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. You, I don't care about this. We have 2 counters up, so this is basically just GG. But it's a tempo deck, right? So it's a tempo control, I would say. So now we just take the damage here. It doesn't even matter, we just attack and win. I could see them playing like a borrower or something, try to survive. Now they need to counter. And then we counter again. Okay. So we got this one. It's hard if you mana screw, and it happened to us before, right? I mean, it's a million artifact tokens. It's worth 12 mana. So yeah, we won the second game here as well, and yeah. Cool. Let's do another one. Luigi T, I guess. Okay. Opponent goes first. I think it's keepable. Yorion. Okay, kind of get the feeling what they're playing. I do like a Brazen Borrower here, especially if they play the willful, you know what I mean, the ramp enchantment for 2. That's also a good bounce. Well, it's actually a better removal. Better removal, this one. So, could be just a classic cultivate here. That is really good. We're gonna play a Bonecrusher, so they most likely have to play a binding on this turn. Usually if they take Yarn, they have a binding. That's like, I would say 80% the case. But I'd rather force them to play a binding than something else. Okay. We need some juice. Well, not happy. Not happy. Could have played this, but we still have 1 left, so we're just gonna shoot here. Okay. It's important to have counters here. It's definitely important. I could also see myself going for the blue mana there. If they play Yarn, they go for like, I have creature. It's fine. Maybe I shouldn't have gave them the binding trigger there. And turn. The Yarn is a bit annoying because the Yarn itself has 5 toughness. Okay, if they play Willful Haven, we don't care, right? Pretty simple. Okay, 7 mana. Tybalt. Have to do it. If they have ultimatum, good luck. Okay, gonna play this one. Guess it's a treasure. I mean, obviously we're not happy about them seeing casting an ultimatum, but if they do so, they don't have Tibbled anymore, so they maybe go for the enchantments. They definitely go Vorinclex plus something. And if they would go Vorinclex and something, we can actually bounce the Vorinclex, which is definitely nice. Obviously this is still 4 damage here, so it's a bit heavier to deal with. End of turn we would still bounce the Yorion here. It's fine. Not happy about the way this is tapped here. That is totally fine. Okay. No counter here. A bit sad. This gives us a bit more power on the board, which is still fine. Could also play nothing here, but we don't have counters, so I'd rather stick something on the board and keep my Brazen Borrower up as a bounce spell only. Slow playing this a bit. Okay. Definitely going for this one. Only lands hand. How much mana do you have? 6 damage, bounce this. Go in if 2 mana open. Have to all in this now. We still have a spell on our hand. Put them down on 5 here. 2 attackers with a Magma Opus can be playable here. Full control here. Say yeah, that's fine. One, two, three, four, three, 5, 6, 7. So it's better actually to do this first. Because the question is removal or counter, right? My gut tells me they have removal here. I'm like pretty sure they have removal. I sadly cannot do both. And removal is usually 2. So they can play around dispute. Because they would have give up here, right? Because I win with this card. So I think this is the play. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had removal, otherwise you would give up at this point. I mean, you can obviously not play it, but feels like we have to go with this one. Definitely more counters. So this is an interesting spot, right? Ashiok's Erasure can be good. They have bindings though, but if you get rid of bindings, it's still fine. Clearly not a fan of those cheap spells here. A Crone War is definitely better. Annul can also be really good here. I do like the Brazen Borrower in this matchup, to be fair. I'm gonna cut one of them, and I would say go. I mean, you can play Ox, but this is not a traditional control game where we just go try to get value, and then in the end we get Ox. You can play a one-off, I guess, but it's so important to make sure that we hit the correct cards here. It's really important. And Sultai Ultimatum is definitely not an easy deck to play against. Definitely not the easiest deck to play against. But again, I'm a fan of dragons, so hopefully you're gonna like this as well. I do have fun so far. I definitely have fun so far. It's a cool deck to play with and to showcase you how it works. Super fun. Especially playing new cards, right? It's always nice, especially in Standard. I know many don't have the wild cards to play Historic, so I hope you're gonna like this one here. Yeah, I think this is okay. With this we can find lands. This one is good for their potential Gargaroth, which I can see them play. I like Brazen Borrower as well. If they go Willfollow Haven, it just resets the turn. Because you cannot play this on turn 2. That's just how it is. Okay. Play your Omen, it's fine. I want to keep my counters here for the real deal. Sadly, I cannot counter their potential. Maybe I should have put Epiphany out. Okay, we have to go for it. They used a negate on that one. They knew we were screwed, huh? That was a big move. Big move. Painful move. Hello, Annul. Okay, now we're in the position where it's not really cool to deal with this. We have two options. We can bone crush one of those. Because the Chariot is hard to deal with right now. Okay. I want to do it like this here. So they don't get the token. And Bonecrusher is usually dead in this matchup. They have no black. Cultivate is pretty good. They don't even go for black. They don't even care. It's funny. If I miss small lands, I'm just completely out of the game. Don't want to show. I mean, I'm probably going to lose this, so I don't want to show them that I play a Crone Wars. It's not looking really good, guys. Mana Screw is a thing. Especially if they counter the turn 2 card. So this doesn't look good. We don't really have a board wipe. So the best way is actually to deal with something they have. Okay, so I still can try and steal the Yorion. But this is just too much, guys. I cannot deal with this. Once you get... The problem with tempo decks is once you lose this tempo component, it's gonna be really hard, so... I think Annul here is still a good card. But yeah, Sultai Ultimatum can be tricky. You really want to be managing those cards. Maybe I should have kept my Annul up for the Chariot there. It's only reasonable. Which I think is probably the right spell, but when you get to the point where you're actually missing lands, right, that's gonna be hard. If I would have drawn a land, I would clearly keep it up, but if not, we're not too happy about. It's not a dragon on hand, but it's a playable one. Got the counter, got the Bonecrusher, got the Magma Opus for the ramp, so this is not a bad hand. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do this on turn 2 though. Scrylands. In Snow we sadly cannot play Scry, which could be really good sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna bring this out there. They still have their removal spell, so Bonecrusher is quite an awkward card. But I do like playing in a curve here. To do damage is not that relevant, I think. So having a 4/3 seems good. They need to spend a removal spell here, which is not that easy to do, right? If not, we can pressure. Huh. We need to have mana open. Because Chariot got us the last time, and I also have a feeling that the way they played us, there's an enchantment coming in. That's just my first guess. Cultivator. Still have to counter it, I think. Good draw. We want the dragon on hand. We put the 15 in the library and we get the land. Play the lands. Gonna attack. So now they're at the spot, right, where they can go in this, but we get the Goldspan Dragon attack next turn. Because they have to do something. There's the point where they have to do something. And we can even pay the costs for their counter. Which is great. Because we know what they have on their hand. They have the dispute there, so this is clear. Important to know that they also don't have that much left there, so. Blue. Yeah, we can sadly not win, but putting them on 4 is huge. Now they need to deal with both creatures, which is really hard. Good game. Yeah, so once you get that tempo thing going, and this is why I like the Bonecrusher in this scenario, just to have something on board and pressure, and yeah, hopefully you like those games with the deck. There were 3 really cool games. The first one was a bit fast, right? But hey, definitely check out the Sideboard guide. I will leave it in the link. Maybe you're watching this while reading the Sideboard guide, and yeah, let's go to the outro. Okay, we had some great games. I have to say, 3 games, 3 wins, seems good to me. The deck feels really good once you're ahead. It feels not that strong once you're behind, but that's a tempo deck, right? So you can feel the tempo aspect of this deck. It's not a pure tempo deck. You have like a mid-range control aspect to it as well, but once a deck like this goes behind, it's really tricky, so you really want to hit your lands. So Expressive Iteration is such an important card. Crows plays a similar list, and he has some tomes and some small board wipes in the sideboard. Really nice plays tomes main. Again, multiple iteration. Just some suggestions here, and I like it. I like it a lot, and if you like it as well, feel free to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, or check me out on twitch.tv, DanyTLaw. And yeah, this deck will have a sideboard guide on MTG Arena Zone, which I partnered up recently. This is, yeah, it makes me happy, and hopefully you like it as well. So, see you next time.